Good morning and welcome back to day 2 of Skate Around 2 here in Namur, Belgium, hosted by the fabulous Namur Roller Girls. This is the first game of 3 today. We actually have a bit of a added bonus for you in this tournament. I'm Dork Mistress.
I'm Cosmic Camel Clash. Nice to meet you. Nice to have you all with us today in this second day of the skate around. So, as Dork Mistress was telling you, this is not an actual part of the tournament, is it?
No, this is an extra special added game. It's part of Belgian Championships, the national championships for Belgium in roller derby. And what game have we got this morning?
So, we have the B team of the Namur Roller Girls with Buzz Fighter, Salomine, Nana Whoop, Tresca, T-Rex Elliot, Rest in Pieces, K, Mischief, Manager, Punchline, Los Angeles, Lookerners, G.I. Joanna and Blitzkrieg, facing Charleroi.
Or the Blackland Rockin K Rollers.
Yeah, that's the long version.
That is the long version. We'll be calling them Blackland in this game today. And skating for them, we have Domina Track, Monster Track, Stickler Boom Boom, Cat Attack, Magma, Dirty Ivy, Shat, Low Block, Shy and Dry, Clara, Hélène, Madro and Rage. So this is tier 2 of Belgian Championships, first year of Belgian Championships, so they've come together in this way. So it's really exciting. It's been running for most of this year and this is the end of the season. This is, I think there is another game happening today in another part of Belgium, but these are the final games of this season, so this will settle it. And, you know, it's just really exciting to see across Europe. We're seeing more and more national championships, giving teams the chance to play teams at the same level and actually compete for something and compete towards progression and promotion.
Yeah, you want that medal, don't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm obviously from the UK, where we have a lot of we have British championships, we have French championships, and the impact it's had on teams is really phenomenal, and seeing progression right across Europe.
And the first jam is on. Jamming for the Namur Roller Girls. We have that's number 73, T-Rex Elliot. No, 31 T-Rex Elliot, and the first lead status was won in seconds. T-Rex is already in the lead for the blue team.
And however, Rage jamming for Blackland is still on their initial pass. And the pack hasn't moved from turn 1, even though we're 30 seconds into this game. It shows how that defense is all packed up together.
Exactly. For the time being, the blue defense is almost not budging, so that's why they haven't moved that much. So we've had a star pass which ends up in a penalty. That's a cut penalty on the black jammer. She was pivot a second ago, now she's a jammer, and now she's in the buck, and that means, Dork?
That means that it is a power jam, but you can see the impact that's having on the pack now on turn 3. But T-Rex Elliot is out and completes. That's the second scoring pass for Namur.
Only 2 blockers against T-Rex Elliot, and there was this collective defense movement, like coating the black blockers, imprisoning them into a circle and then preventing them from blocking. And this looks good for Les Parpins, because that's the name of the Namur B team.
And I would try pronounce that, but I would offend everybody. So what's interesting is in that first jam, you can see that there's no testing or, you know, a bit tentative.
No,
both teams went
straight into it.
Straight into it in that first jam.
So we have number 394, that's a Mischief Manager in a power jam with a reduced defense. So what must happen just happened. And she got the lead in less than 5 seconds. She's now in her first scoring trip, passing her own wall with some nice assists.
Well, that's the second jam in a row that Namur have been able to do that. So Blackland are going to have to work out how to close down those outside lines.
Well, for the time being, the power jam is now over. Let's see if the Blackland jammer is going to have an opportunity to come back, and they might just do so, because that's the second power jam in 2 jams.
Yeah. And you know, that's not an advantage you want to give to the other team at this stage, but both teams, you know, keen to sort of set their mark on this game, but doing jammer penalties is not the way to do that.
So Low Block, who was pivot and then jammer in the previous jam, is now in control since she's the only jammer on the track. Low Block, who transferred from Luxembourg just this year. She has just started with Charleroi, and she's doing a great job, because the first points scored by Charleroi in this game are by her.
You can see quite a tentative approach to the pack there from Low Block, but manages to just get through and completes the star pass actually to just get through and get the points.
Yep. So only 2 points because for some time the helmet cover was not worn by anyone, and you cannot score points if you don't have the star on your head.
But sometimes it's easier to get it out and have another go than to be stuck behind a wall. So that was smart tactics from Blackland.
Exactly. Of course, you may have noticed that the lead was lost during this jam since the lead jammer was sent to the box. So a little more than 10 seconds remaining. We'll see who's going to win this race for points between the two jammers. Blue jammer slightly ahead. Yes, that was some nice movements by Mischief Manager.
Yes, that was great agility and footwork from Mischief Manager. And completing that scoring pass, so both teams picking up points. It's 19 points to 7 now in favour of Namur, and we've just had 4 minutes. We've had a lot of action in just 4 minutes.
So much is going on.
Yeah, and I'm really impressed by the level of play that we're seeing and the level of commitment. And as we said, just getting stuck in.
Well, this is what happens, as you were mentioning earlier, about just having a national tournament and giving the teams the opportunity to play more and more games with more and more teams. Of course, this is going to increase the overall level of the whole Belgian roller derby. So this is for the best.
Absolutely, can see the impact on the teams just in the space of a year usually.
So Les Parpins are going to start without a pivot because number 382, Rest in Pieces, was sent to the box for a forearm penalty just as the jam ended. So that's 30 full seconds without a pivot. Oh, that was lightning fast, extremely fast lead taken by the blue jammer. That's a number 394 Mischief Manager. No, that's K.
And as we've seen again, it's that ability to get lead within just a few seconds that is letting Namur put the points on the board ahead of Blackland. But it is now a power jam as K is sent to the box. So Blackland have that opportunity to close the gap down.
I'm not sure I have ever seen before a game beginning with 3 jammer penalties in 3 jams. That's uncanny.
Yeah.
And I think it's Cat's penalties every time as well. So maybe there's some things to be worked during a timeout. We'll see. In the meantime, this is looking good for Magma, the black jammer, trying to find their way in the center against a 2-player block. But of course, all the blockers can help, and it is working.
That was fantastic timing by the Blackland offense to clear the way. So often you just see millisecond too wrong, but that was ideal.
Black jammer back on the track. Lead is lost. This is going to be yet another 2-minute jam. Both jammers trying to find their way. Black jammer slightly ahead with some help with number 59, that's Shat, who as a pivot seems to be handling offense duties.
And Namur just leaving that inside line wide open for Magma, so focused on what's happening on the other side of the pack, they totally missed the jammer going through.
Pack reaching turn 3, heading to turn 4 because she was almost through. Yes, that's some very, very good vision of play by number 39. Blue jammer saw that the blocker that had pushed her out of bounds had fallen, so she could re-enter without a cat penalty, so that's exactly what she did.
But
good thinking on the spot.
Los Angeles with a great block to the inside on Magma with a great recycle. And that's and that's the end of that jam. But these 2-minute jams are having an impact in that both teams can score. And the impact here is that we have a tied game, 27 points each at the end of jam 3. Whereas when you are playing a game, normally you want to set the dominance at the start of the game and deny the other team points, but these jammer penalties aren't allowing for that. We have a timeout being called by Namur now, probably to come back, calm down, because these jammer penalties are allowing Blackland to tie that game.
Et donc si vous nous rejoignez maintenant, évidemment nous n'allons pas rester en anglais tout le temps. Vous êtes donc face à un début de partie extrêmement tendu. On a eu en 3 jams, 3 power jams à chaque fois, des pénalités de jammeuses qui ont eu un énorme impact sur le jeu. Déjà 2 fois la jammeuse qui avait le lead a été envoyée en box, ce qui a signifié donc 2 jams de 2 minutes à la suite. Et donc, pour l'instant, aucune équipe ne réussit à tirer son épingle du jeu. On est face à un score d'égalité, comme vous pouvez le voir sur votre écran, 27-27. Temps mort demandé par les Parpins. De la même façon, si vous nous rejoignez maintenant, sachez que ce match ne compte pas pour le Skate Around 2. On n'est pas dans le tournoi, on est dans autre chose. C'est un match bonus, un match qui compte pour le championnat belge. Nous sommes dans la dernière journée du championnat national belge, qui en est d'ailleurs à sa première année d'existence. C'est tout nouveau. Et donc, le classement final de ce championnat aura sera possible après les 2 matchs d'aujourd'hui, un qui a lieu ici et un autre qui a lieu ailleurs, mais je ne sais pas où. And back to you.
That's fantastic. We obviously want to reflect the languages that are played in the sport where we are. So that's so we will be having a bilingual commentary, and which always embarrasses me, being a native English and only English speaker. So we're underway again.
So that's Nana Whoop on the blue side, pushing hard against the last blocker, and she is through.
Just checking that she has the helmet cover on safely, because we've seen that come off more times than we care to remember.
So Nana Whoop, first scoring pass, challenging that black defense, trying the outside line, and finding her way, actually creating her own space to get through.
Yeah.
Very nicely done.
Yep, Blackland unable to keep up against those physical blocks, and that's something they're going to want to work on, is being able to take those hits, because, as you said, able to create her own hole.
As you can see, the Blackland jammer is still stuck in their initial pass, trying to find their way, but the Black, oh my god, is that the 4th power jam in 4 jams? I've never seen that before.
No, and I think this is something in particular Namur will be wanting to work on, because it's just giving that advantage away every time to Blackland.
So, it's like a desert on the Namur side, with only 2 blockers left and no jammer.
Yeah.
Not many people on the track today.
No, this is a real opportunity for Blackland to not only close that gap, but trying to put on multiple passes in this 30 seconds. And with only 2 blockers on the track and not closing that inside line down. Oh, but it was a back block assessed to Shat. So it is now, we call it jammer hokey cokey, but the jammer's releasing Nana Whoop back on track, glides through that inside line and completes that scoring pass.
And we are going for yet another 2-minute jam with Blue Jammer coming at full spin with only 2 blockers to go through. And no problem here.
I think the jammer penalty for Blackland has let Namur off with that power jam, because 15 points for Namur, which is takes them to 42, opening up that gap of 15 points from 27. Blackland would have looked to have caught up, but weren't able to because of that jammer penalty. And they will be starting on a power jam, Namur, because Blackland are still in the box.
And jam number 5 is on, with Shat jamming for Namur, finding that inside line, nope, being pushed out of bounds, having to start again on the outside. And this time does the charm. She is lead jammer. That took a little less than 10 seconds. So she has free reign to try and get those points right now.
And also Blackland are now the team with just 2 blockers on track, and that shows just a hop, skip and an apex jump through for 4 points.
So it looks like after a very close start, for the first time since the beginning of the game, we have like a clear gap appearing now between the 2 teams. Les Parpins are leading for almost 20 points, so this could be the beginning of a clear dominance. But in the meantime, penalties are just raining on players.
Yes, and that is now Namur with 2 blockers in the box. And I think the penalties has been the story of this game. Namur would want to be further ahead, but those jammer penalties have absolutely killed that. And now the blocker penalties are adding to these jammer penalty situations, because if you haven't got blockers on the track, you can't stop a power jam.
Exactly. Black jammer with some very 1-and-1 defense from number 537, but that wasn't enough. She left in long enough though.
We're also seeing all these jams going to 2 full minutes because the jammers are losing lead. This is the first time a team has kept lead and called a jam this game, and we're 10 minutes into it. And timeout called by Blackland.
Donc vous l'avez pu le constater, on est vraiment face à un profil de début de jeu très particulier, avec 4 power jams sur les 5 jams qui ont eu lieu depuis le début de la partie. Pour l'instant, la situation bénéficie plus aux Parpins, à l'équipe B de Namur, qui a réussi à se tirer un petit peu son épingle du jeu et à avoir une vingtaine de points d'avance. Mais pour l'instant, si on doit retirer un aspect particulier de cette rencontre, c'est vraiment le nombre de pénalités extrêmement important qui tombe sur les joueuses des 2 côtés. qu'il s'agisse des pénalités de bloqueuses ou des pénalités de jammeuses, les jams commencent et changent complètement de forme et de dynamique dès que les pénalités se mettent à tomber, avec donc du coup des retournements de situation. On n'a absolument aucune idée de ce qu'il va pouvoir se passer. And I was just saying that since the dynamics of each jams are being changed by all these penalties, there's no way to say which way this is going to end.
No, I think if Namur can hold back the jam penalties, if they can cut them down, they're going to be able to build on this lead. But they have to do that in order to be able to do it, because they're just giving Blackland the opportunity to keep up.
So we have a little bit of chatting between the refs and the Blackland bench side.
We're just waiting to see what the result of that communication was. Sometimes I think they should have some big kind of sign or flag to tell us up here on our lovely balcony here in Fleuref, Belgium. And this is a fantastic venue, and we've had an amazing weekend hosted by Namur Roller Girls, and we're hugely grateful to them for this opportunity to come and have an amazing weekend of roller derby.
Yeah, they've been so nice to us and to everybody. So if you are a roller derby team and if Namur invites you to come and play, just please go. You'll have a fantastic time. In the meantime, we have Rest in Pieces jamming for the blue side, and she'll be facing Rage. And jam is on. Blue jammer slightly ahead, trying to find their way against two blockers.
What we have seen is that when teams can form that three wall, they're very strong. When they're being able to be braced, they're able to hold back. And just as I say that, both jammers get out and race. We have a jammer race on. It is Namur with the lead. Oh!
That's a high block against Rage. Sent to the penalty box. It took her like a few seconds to realize she had been a penalty whistled against her. So this is yet another power jam. I mean, we should keep count. This is number 5 out of 6 jams. And this is looking good for the Namur side with some really nice agility and footwork. Spinning around by number 382. That was Rest in Pieces.
Yeah, that was great footwork.
Rest in Pieces coming on strong against that black tripod. So Namur defense tried to hold back one of the blockers, but that blocker, number 665, that's Clara, she could rejoin her wall. And now the Namur blockers have to brace themselves because the power jam is over.
But Blackland able to hold back Rest in Pieces. That was effective defense from them. But that's still allowing Namur to pick up 10 points in that jam. So again, starting to extend that lead out because the jam is on track. So that's 18 minutes left in this half. 67 points to Namur, 31 to Blackland.
So very reduced defense from Les Parpins right now. Let's see if this allows the Black Jammer to take lead, because Blackland needs to take the lead right now if they want to catch up. It's been 13 minutes already in this game, and Namur is developing a lead, and there they go again. T-Rex Elliott taking the lead despite the numerical disadvantage.
And in the first few jams, we saw Namur get lead very, very quickly, but now the defense for Blackland is holding back the jammers into sort of 10-15 seconds into the jam, and that counts.
Yeah, sure, it looks like they're adapting slowly but surely to the jamming style of the blue team. So far, it hasn't been enough to prevent them from getting lead status. But the fact that we've moved from lightning fast lead taken to 10 seconds-ish time before the lead is taken means something. In the meantime, T-Rex Elliott is stacking on points as the pack is waiting, reaching turn 3.
But we have had that star pass. Mad Drow now the jammer for Blackland and has left the pack. But it is Le Papa who have picked up the points. It is 13 points for them on this jam, taking them to 80. Blackland unable to score 31 points. And we can really see that Namur are getting hold of this game now.
Yep.
Le Papa are sort of locking down the Blackland jammers.
Well, let's take a hard look at how this two-player blue wall is going to hold back on that. The black jammer number 33, that's Magma, On paper, the situation is very advantageous for Blackland, but so far this is a fantastic defense, and a baby is being eaten as we speak.
And a cut was assessed. Magma not taking the first opportunity to yield. So that was really effective by Los Angeles, who has caused that cut penalty. And I think it's not the first time we've seen the Blackland jammer in the box this game.
For first, this is the first time ever in my career that I've seen the baby actually be successful, work.
No, I have seen it in other places, but it was just causing that penalty is even better than eating the baby, because it frees you up as a jammer to go and score, whereas the baby does hold you back as well.
Yep, it does. So despite having a disadvantage in numbers, Namur are pulling enough yet again. So Los Angeles taking her sweet time because she doesn't want to catch. You don't want to rush anything, especially when you're in a power jam. Power jam is now over. Magma trying to find their way with the star stash, and that was a very nice star pass by Blackland.
That was lovely. That's textbook.
Yep.
Textbook timing, but textbook way to do it. But that apex jump from Los Angeles was fun.
And that was extremely good work from her blockers as well, because they kept the black blockers distracted.
Yes.
And they literally didn't see her coming, but that was on purpose.
That was a fun jam to watch.
Yes.
But it was 9 points for Le Papa and 31 points now on the board for Blackland, 89 for Namur. Halfway through this first half. And this has been an absolutely fun game to watch.
Yes, so much stuff is happening at once. So this is jam number 9. Are we going to see yet another lead taken by Namur? We're going to see, so far, Black Jammer has a positional advantage, trying to push through this blue tripod, but look at them not moving at all. Doing some sideways, extremely fast motion. Pack is stretching from turn 1 to turn 2. Defense is reorganizing. So Black Jammer slightly ahead once again. Look at that blue defense, it's not budging. And now it has. No, the lead is not for the Black Jammer.
Yep. Now, so obviously did not pass all skaters upright and in bounds. So Namur are in the position where lead is still open for Rust in Pieces, but Rage is on a scoring pass, hit out to the inside and recycled.
I'm not sure Rust in Pieces is aware that she's the lead jammer right now, because the logical decision here would be to call it off to prevent Rage from scoring points, and Rage is still scoring.
Yeah. Sometimes you get out the front of the pack and you don't realise you've been called lead, and her team and her bench is asking for her to call the game, and she did not think she was lead. You were right.
Yes, exactly. She could finally. She realized when she was asked to call. So that's 5 points that Blackland could snatch.
Yeah.
On a misunderstanding, basically.
I think the entire room was trying to inform her that she was lead. There was a lot.
The thing is, when the entire venue is screaming call, you don't know who they're talking to.
Yes, that's very true. So that's 36 points playing, 89, 12 minutes, 22 left in this half. So on the jam line, we have number 89 for Blackland, which...
Who we do not know.
No, because they're not on our list. But it's T-Rex Elliott for Namur, who has made it out for lead.
And it looks like on the Blackland side, they've realized that Star Pass would be an effective strategy when you don't get the lead, because as soon as Blue Jammer got the lead, Black Jammer took their cover off, and they are now doing yet another very good Star Pass. So that was legally and beautifully done.
Yes. Tactically, absolutely when you should do a Star Pass. Low block now, the jammer for Blackland, approaching the pack for points, forcing T-Rex Elliott to call off the jam.
And I think she did a split second too late, because yes, Low Block did manage to snatch one little point right before the call. Looks like the Blue Jammer wasn't aware that the Star Pass had been completed.
Yep.
So we have 394, that's Mischief Manager for Les Parpins. And who are you? Are you Magma? Yes, you are. Magma for Blackland. It looks to me that the number of penalties have decreased in the latest jams. I'm not sure because I don't have stats in front of me, but the penalty box looks less crowded somehow.
Yes. I think everybody's calmed down a bit.
Yep.
Because it's always exciting. And the first few minutes you can sometimes, and also the benches have got them together and calmed them down. So it's great work from the bench coaches. And we're seeing the jammers stay on track, which is always fun.
Yes, I love Derby when the jammers are on the track.
Yeah, we want points. So Magnus stuck only just now coming up to the pivot line. Great defense from Le Papa. And
look at that recycling.
Oh,
it's extremely well done.
Yeah. And just taking Magma right back to where she started. But Mischief Manager now makes it out of the pack for lead for Le Papa.
But as you were pointing out earlier, you know, it takes more and more time each time for the Blue Jammers to get the lead. This time it was full 45 seconds. That's great defense. And I think, it had been a while, but this is yet another power jam.
Yes. But at the same time, Mischief Manager on the second pass was given no defence or no opposition at all. Just skated right past Blackland. They weren't ready for her to come round. And today, in this pass, great offence from Namur, letting her through.
Fantastic screening, collective screening by the blue blockers, opening a wide way on the inside. This time, it's on the outside. Yes, look at that hit. That was number 66, Los Angeles, who it's in jamming right before, hitting Madro just as Madro was trying to initiate contact on the jammer, and she couldn't do it, and that's just excellent timing. She couldn't have done it better.
No, and I think Blackland there just not quick enough to change to go from
defense to offense and vice versa.
Yeah. So we've got 15 points for Le Papa in this jam, taking them to over the 100 to 113 points, 37 for Blackland. We've got 9 minutes left in this half. And you can just see that Namur, now we know what to do.
Yep.
Now we know what to do, and actually are able to focus on defense because the jammers aren't needing that much offense. Now we're a few jams into it.
So let's see how Blackland tries to react against that low block of the first blocker, being dodged by the blue jammer. And yes, there was no opposition to the blue jammer after low block because, as you were mentioning earlier, it looks like it's still a little bit complicated for the black blockers to go from offense to defense. They let the jammer through because they were trying to help their own jammer, and you have to do it all at once.
Yes, and you have to do it as quick as the jammers move, and I think we've seen that the Le Papa jammers are just a bit quicker to turn and change and juke than Blackland.
We have a forearm penalty called in between jams. No, it's unclear whether she's being... it was
it's
equipment.
Yeah.
It wasn't a penalty at all.
No, so the jammer's elbow pad had a loose strap, and so the refs, just for safety, wanted to make sure that was secured.
And see, the gesture is close to the forearm gesture. She thought she was being penalized, but she was not. Do we have another power jam? Yes, we do. This time it's number 31, T-Rex Elliott going to... We have to keep count of the jam penalties because it's been only 23 minutes in the first half, and this may increase the chances of foul-outs by jammers.
Yes, and neither team is going to want to be in that scenario. But we must stop talking about it. It's clearly us that's causing it.
Yes, announce a curse, you know.
Yep, it's a thing. So we have some fantastic defense from Le Papa.
Of course, you can see how the blue defense is resisting to the attempts, and it took a full 30 seconds and the black jammer didn't get through. This is absolutely amazing defense, and look at that blue jammer after 30 seconds in the box, surging through, taking the inside line and finishing her initial pass. Pack is in turn 4.
Yeah, and the Blackland jammer is still behind that wall of 3. And, you know, Blackland are doing good work in trying to move the pack forward so that to get their jammer through in a no pack, but it's not working because Namur are able to respond. So we've actually now got an entire lap of the track, and Blackland haven't been able to get their jammer through in 90 seconds now. So this is incredibly strong defense from Namur.
And it looks like the usual solution worked once again for Blackland. This is a way they want to explore more. The star pass is what got them out of a tricky situation like that more than once, and they've done it again. Little less than 3 seconds left to go in these 2-minute jams. And there we are.
Yeah, but Blackland will have picked up points in that jam. And again, it's because if you give up lead, you can't call it off, and so it's a 2-minute jam. And then, you know, other team are going to score. 9 points for Les Papins, 2 points for Blackland, taking them 125 plays at 39. 5.5 minutes left in this game.
Reduced defense on the black side with 1 blocker in the box. From Blackland, it's going to be Los Angeles against Magma. Los Angeles surging on the inside line. No one saw her coming. No,
and I think when Blackland look back at this game, I'd really want them to start looking at defending those inside and outside lines right to the line.
One blocker left to pass. Oh, that's a very good defense from a 6'6" Clara. Getting a few seconds. And that allowed Black Jammer to overtake the blue one, well, almost, to catch up with her.
Yeah. I mean, we're now in the jammer race, so we're going to see whether Namur are going to play the jam long, which it appears they are. So they... no. Had enough. And that is 1 point for Blackland, but 5 for Les Papins.
Less than 5 minutes remaining in this first half, with Les Papins leading by 90 points now.
And it is Rage on the line for Blackland up against Rust in Pieces, jamming for Les Papins.
She is powering through those blockers.
That is sheer strength to get through as lead. That was a proper scrum at the jam line, but Rust in Pieces was strong enough to just push through and faced no oppositioning. Perfectly timed offense from her blockers.
It's not only strength, it's control, because what you want to do when you're pouring through a wall is avoid any forearm penalties. And she did just that. She was able to exert an incredible force forward without doing anything illegal. That's why she is now lead jammer and has already scored 10 points.
Yeah, and even with just 3 blockers on the track, Namur have been able to break up every Blackland wall. I mean, just the offense timing on that was...
Did you see that teamwork? It was amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and they didn't, and they could still hold back the Blackland jammer. That was what was really impressive with a short pack. They were still able to do both jobs. And it is that Namur are not letting Blackland form a wall when their jammers come through. And it's at the right time. They don't go too early, because quite often then you can reform and you still hold people back.
So we are back with Nana Whoop and the mystery Black Jammer.
Yes.
Number 8-9, we don't have her on our list, we're sorry. At some point, during halftime, I'll just go and see what's on her jersey so we can name that player. So Blue Jammer slightly ahead, taking the outside, being pushed back, and there she is. The Blue Jammers, they seem to have, understood the trick to how the black triangles work and how you can destabilize them.
And I think it's using physicality. So it's not having to juke, it's being able to push, I think has been the trick for Namur jammers so far. But both jammers out of the pack, and Namur having to call that jam as Blackland start approaching for point scoring. So, but this is probably the first jam in a while where we've seen just one scoring pass.
Yep.
So that's good work from Blackland, forcing that call off. 148 points for Namur, now playing 41 for Blackland. 1 minute 38 left in this half. I am just enjoying this game so much.
Yes, it is, because of course this is a huge point, over 100-point lead for Namur, but we can see that Blackland is slowly getting the gist of it and trying to adapt their game, and it looks like whatever the result is going to be, Blackland is going to learn a lot from this game.
Yes. And I think Namur also had to learn and adapt in those first few minutes because it didn't go the way they expected, and they had all those Gemma penalties and had to learn how to calm down. But Magma now also out of the pack on the initial pass, so Los Angeles is forced to call off the jam.
But right after the Blue Jammer got lead, you can see that the blockers from Blackland did exactly what they had to do.
Yes.
They quickly switched to offense. They freed their jammer from the blue triangle. Their jammer could get out of the pack. This is why there was only one scoring path this time.
Yeah.
But the Blackland blockers, when they tried to reform and switch back to defense, they got destabilized.
Yeah.
So they were like one step away from doing it.
Yes.
And they have 30 full minutes after the halftime to try and work on this.
Yes. And you can see how they are adapting during the game. It's always fantastic when you see a team just learning on track.
So that's a direction of gameplay, penalty being whistled off on I don't know who. No one's going to the box. So Blackland wall is reduced by half, but then again, this may be another only one scoring trip jam, and this is an evolution.
Well, this is the second scoring pass, and unfortunately for Blackland, just no defense offered to Namur Jammer at that point. So both of those scoring passes, there was literally didn't even have to slow down. And I think that's something, because Namur are just breaking up the wall at every time, every opportunity. They are not letting Blackland stand next to each other. And so and it's just great teamwork and timing between the two teams, between the blockers and the jammer for Le Pepin. So that's the first half. As I said, it's been a fantastic game to watch, even though the score, you would think it's clearly in one team's favour. But it's just a fun game.
It's not a blowout.
No, not at all. And it's been fun. In those first few minutes, it was really neck and neck. So in the second half, we're going to want to see what Blackland do come out of half-time. How are they going to regroup? How are they going to stop Namur from stopping them? That's, I think, the exciting thing I want to see. And we'll be back in about 14 minutes.
Et donc si vous nous rejoignez maintenant, donc vous pouvez voir le score. Effectivement, on est face à un match qui est mine de rien très intéressant, malgré ce que le score laisse penser. Le score laisse penser, on voit effectivement une domination de Namur Bay qu'on ne peut pas nier. Mais du côté de Blackland, du côté de Charleroi, on évolue vraiment dans son jeu. La difficulté du côté de Charleroi, c'est clairement les bloqueuses qui doivent basculer de la défense à l'offensive de plus en plus vite pour réagir à un travail d'équipe incroyable de la part des Parpins. C'est vraiment leur énorme point fort, la manière dont elles sont synchrones, dont elles réussissent, elles, pour le côté, à empêcher le mur de Charleroi de se reformer. Mais Charleroi apprend vraiment pendant cette partie. On voit leur jeu qui s'améliore sans arrêt. Du coup, la deuxième mi-temps devrait être très intéressante et on se retrouve dans à peu près 13 minutes. Nous sommes de retour, rebonjour tout le monde. Donc nous sommes au Skate Around, nous sommes à Namur, ou plutôt à Floref, donc dans ce merveilleux tournoi organisé par les Namur Roller Girls. Et nous sommes face à un match bonus qui ne fait pas vraiment partie du Skate Around, mais qui fait partie de quelque chose de grand et de beau, à savoir la première édition du championnat national belge. Il s'agit d'un match entre les Namur B, les Parpins, et l'équipe des Blackland Rock Roller Derby, donc de Charleroi. Et je suis avec Doc Mistress.
So we are just having had that first half of this game.
Yes, we have.
And it's been a fun game to watch, lots and lots of action, but the story has been penalties.
Yeah, penalties. In the first 6 jams, we had 5 power jams, which is for me unprecedented. And of course, it has improved with the number of penalties lowering when we reached halftime.
Yes.
But this really shaped kind of weird dynamic to the game.
Yes. And also we saw a lot of blocker penalties, and that meant that we ended up with a number of jams with a power jam and only 2 opposing blockers or 2 of the same team blockers on the track. And that had a real impact on whether the teams were able to maximise the opportunity of the power jam.
And this is also, that gave us the opportunity to see how different both defenses work, because when the blue wall, when the Namur wall was reduced to 2 blockers, most of the time they still managed to block. And they still managed to switch from defense to offense really quickly.
Yeah.
And this is like the real game changer here.
Yep.
Blue defense, they are able to switch and work together from offense to defense extremely quickly. And so far, the Blackland blockers have having a hard time to keep up with this, but they are slowly improving, and that's what makes this game so interesting.
Yes, and we are ready to go on to the second half. So on the jam line for Blackland, we have Rage up against...
That's number 39, that's K, I think. T-Rex Elliott.
T-Rex Elliott taking the outside line, getting the lead easily. Rage also out of the pack, just about a quarter of the lap behind both jammers approaching the pack for points. Oh, and Namur trying to get the points, but that hit on their own blocker, sending them to the floor, meant that neither team picked up points.
And what was interesting in this first jam is that the black blocker got out of the pack really fast, and this is obviously something that Blackland has been working on, because during the first half, especially the first half of the first half, we had some extremely long time with black jammer being stuck, and that resulted in many scoring passes from the blue team. And this time, well, we're going to see now in jam 2 with Shy and Dry facing, who are you, Rest in Pieces? Rest in Pieces ahead. So let's see those black blockers. How will they react? Well, one of them is being sent to the box.
But the other has been released, providing some offense for Shy and Dry, who is pushing their way forward. They're just 2 Namur blockers ahead, but at the same time, Rust in Pieces has skated around the outside unopposed to pick up 5 points.
And every time you see the blue jammer run unopposed, it's always because of the same thing. Because when Rust in Pieces came to the pack, the black jammers, black blockers were still doing offense, and they just didn't see her coming.
Nope. And again, very little opposition in the pack to Rust in Pieces. Very hard when you have only 2 blockers on the track, but it is now...
So a little bit of tumbling action
Sorry,
here.
I was just trying to find out what was going on there.
So what was going on is a little bit of tussle in between turn 3 and 4, and a power jam that began a few seconds before the jam was called off. So that may be like maybe 25 seconds of a power start in jam number 3, which will be starting in 10 seconds now. So that leaves a lot of room to Punchline, who's jamming for the first time for Namur, isn't she?
Yes, absolutely. And you can see the tactics of the team changing up with that pivot line start, giving the jammer that opportunity for Punchline to build up some speed before they hit the pack. And almost immediately hit to the outside and to the floor by number 05 for Blackland.
So you can see what they wanted to do here. They wanted to have that first hit by the jammer, and then right after they wanted to just go straight in and open the path. Punchline fell down, so that strategy backfired, but in the end they still could get the lead, and it's now in their first scoring pass.
Yes, and Shy and Dry is now released from the box and approaching the pack on her initial pass, but Punchline has completed a Grand Slam 5-point pass and approaching the pack to score more points. Unfortunately for Shy and Dry, taking out a ref on the inside, but Punchline, oh, that was a fantastic hit from number 665, Clara.
You can see Shy and Dry and Mad Draw, the black pivot, trying to work together. They did a fake star pass, which resulted in no star pass at all, and trying to get through. But it didn't work so far. But you can see Mad Draw trying to find the eyes of her jammer. Give me that cover. Yes, yes.
Yes,
but I think she's been spotted.
Yeah, the star pass was completed. It was very swift and neat. But Punchline is just able to just push through the pack. There's not enough defense being offered by Blackland to hold Punchline back, who looks like, I'm a bit bored of just pushing through and scoring points. I mean, it is physically taxing, but again, you're not going to give up. But that little hop, skip and a jump, it's more like laps than, you know, I think for the jammer at this stage, and Blackland really need to come together.
And it's not only come together, it's something that we've seen a lot during the first half, is that the Blackland defense, they have a hard time covering all the external and inside line all the way through. There is sometimes a little bit of a tiny gap left unblocked, and this is something that the blue jammers are very, very good at spotting and then surging through.
Blocking to the line is not an aspiration, it should be the reality. Oh.
There is this saying that I've heard a lot of coaches tell blockers, your butt is bigger than is not as big as you think it is.
Yes.
Go farther.
Yes, absolutely. Wheels to the line, butt over the line is what you should be aiming for. We're in a quick official timeout, but that seems to be concluding, and we're back to the action. So on the jam line, we have Magma for Blackland up against
Nana Whoop.
Nana Whoop. Again, a different jammer we haven't seen a lot of in the first half. I think jammed just 1 or 2 jams. So Namur are able to mix up they've got a big depth of jammers that they can have. Pushing out up front for Nana Whoop, just 1 blocker left, lead jammer for Le Papa.
I don't know if you took a good look at the way both jammers impacted their respective walls.
Yep.
When Nana Whoop got into the black wall, she got inside it. She pushed through it.
Yes.
When the black jammer got into the blue wall, she bounced off it because she wasn't going fast enough. Sometimes jammers, especially when they are in second tier, as you said, in the Belgian Championship, they will have this restraint and not daring to go all the way and impact with brute force.
Yes.
I think this is an area where blue jammers are slightly better, maybe.
Yes.
They're not afraid of going in.
You need to project yourself through the wall, not try and actually think about being the other side. So
one very crowded penalty box.
Yes, but so we had 2 jammers from both teams in the penalty box. 3 of them released at the same time, just at the end of that jam. But then another penalty picked up. So it is again blocker penalties are just piling up. And again, both teams with 24 minutes to go are going to have to start thinking about lineups. If you've got if you've got both jammers and blockers on a large number of penalties, we could see foul outs by the end of this game. But that was 10 points for Le Papa, taking them over the 205 place 41. And just as we talk about it, Rage must have been listening to us, pushed physically through that wall to pick up lead for Blackland, to the great applause of the audience here.
This may be the key for Blackland to just add more physicality into their way of playing, because this just worked really well, and it's working again, I think, because Rage, look at her go, impacting over and over and over again. Good defense work by T-Rex Elliott, but T-Rex Elliott was almost stopped in her attempt to recycle, and that's a direction of gameplay penalty whistled.
Yeah, for T-Rex. So this gives Blackland the blocker advantage, 2 Namur blockers in the box, and Rage is making the most of that, completing the 5-point scoring fast. But Los Angeles is now out of the pack and about half the track behind Rage. So
that's a good spot for Rage to be. She has a little bit of a leeway to get those points and some time to call it off. That may have been a little late.
No, managing to pick up 3 points in that jam for Rage and denying Le Papa any points. And I think that's probably the first time we've seen that in this game.
Yep. Well, first of all, it was the first black lead in the second half.
Yes. And it was great timing, actually. It was it was really tight timing, I think, from Rage, but that was a great call-off. So on the jam line, we have Shy and Dry up against...
Rest in Pieces.
Rest in Pieces. And that's a really tight scrum from the jam line. Both jammers having a tough time. And we now have an empty penalty box. So number 31, T-Rex Elliott, coming out of the box, going in for some offense, but not able to clear up that big mess of people. But the pack is now spread out all over the turn, and that's allowed Rest in Pieces to get out his lead. But Shy and Dry is also out, just about half a track behind. So Rest in Pieces taking the inside line, but faces a 2-wall up front. Hit out recycle, calls the jam, but both teams were waiting to see who scored points.
So it's going to be a little bit of a discussion between the jam ref and the OPRs to make sure how many points were scored by Blackland right now.
Yeah. So it's 2 for Le Papa and it's 1 for Blackland. Oh no, the other way around. 2 for Blackland, 1 for Le Papa.
Something's happening on the black side, I think.
Yeah.
It's been 2 jams in a row with Jammer gaining quickly out of the back despite not having lead, which is definitely an improvement for Blackland.
Yeah. And official timeout, the jammers were just ready to go. But we've definitely seen in the second half that Blackland have really taken the best use of that time to think about what they want to do.
Et effectivement, comme on vous disait il y a quelques secondes en anglais, et visiblement il y a une dynamique qui change dans cette deuxième mi-temps. On voit déjà des jammeuses du côté de Blackland qui impactent les murs plus fort, qui font un peu plus parler le côté physique, et ça fonctionne parce que déjà on a eu un lead de Blackland au jam 5, ce qui n'était pas arrivé encore dans cette deuxième mi-temps. Et en plus, même quand les jammeuses de Blackland n'ont pas le lead, elles sortent beaucoup plus vite et elles coupent un peu l'herbe sous le pied des jammeuses bleues, les empêchant de faire plus d'un passage marquant. Donc comme on avait dit, hein, Blackland, Charleroi est une équipe qui apprend énormément pendant ce jam et c'est un plaisir à voir.
And we're ready to get underway again. So it's Magma facing off against G.I. Joanna for Namur, who's one of our announcer crew this weekend.
Yeah, that woman can multitask. She was announcing with us. She jammed, she did a foreign penalty, she can do it all.
And she thinks she's been sent to the penalty box. She's being asked
Actually,
by the referee.
she hasn't.
No, she's being asked by the referee to come back on track and is lead, but that has put her behind Magma, and so she has no choice but to call off that jam. Oh, that was tough for G.I. Joanna.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that it's reflecting on that. It's just in that heat and there's a penalty call, you just think it's you.
We'll just hug her afterwards.
Yes. So neither team picking up points in that jam. 206 now playing 51 with 20 minutes left in this game.
And it's going to be Tresca against Rage with reduced walls on both sides. It's a tripod.
Pack. It's a mini pack.
It's a mini pack. It's a 6-pack.
So both teams going with a braced 3-wall, but Rage again. Oh, Rage picking up a cut track penalty. And I think she's a little frustrated around that, but goes to the penalty box. So that has allowed Tresca to pick up lead out of the pack. And there are just 2 blockers from each team on track.
So let's see how they're going to manage that. Black blockers trying to take this offense, but not covering enough space to get the outside line covered. Oh, look at them reforming. This is really good work from Blackland right now.
Yeah.
Giving a tough time. She got through, but it wasn't unchallenged.
No, and I loved Kay's 39's positional blocking. Not hitting people, but just being in a place that meant that the other person couldn't go where they wanted. Beautiful. I'm a big fan of positional blocking. And we're
how to be a pain just by being where you are.
Exactly. So Tresca pushing out up front and Rage getting some offense from number 666, Hélène. And that works, getting Rage through. Tresca has also exited the pack, so Tresca able to pick up the points. Rage not picking up any on that jam. That is 10 for Le Papa, taking them to 216.
So it's going to be maybe G.I. Joanna's revenge because she's back on the track. Let's hope that this time if she gets the lead, she won't think it's a penalty. She's now going against Shy and Dry, and the penalty box is empty.
So it is Shy and Dry pushing out up front, but the pack has reformed again into these very tight, cramped sort of scrums. But it's Shy and Dry hit out and recycled to the jam line.
Yeah, T-Rex Elliott just did some extremely lightning fast recycling here, going just over the out-of-play limit, but not getting out of play. And this time, G.I. Joanna is lead. She dodges the falling jam ref. She's amazing.
Yes, and good work from the jam ref to get back up instantly. G.I. Joanna now on a scoring pass, gets some beautiful offense, beautifully timed positional offense from her team, through for 5 points.
And you can watch this Namur triangle being extremely synchronized. As we've told you many times, these players can really work together this way that one of them will push the jammer out of bounds and another one will recycle her.
But this is some fantastic one-on-one blocking from number 27, Cat Attack from Blackland, but unfortunately picking up a penalty in holding back G.I. Joanna. But we've also had a star pass to Mad Drow for Blackland, who is out of the pack on the initial pass and forces G.I. Joanna to call that jam off. But that is
13 points scored by G.I. Joanna. This is basically what we've been saying for the past 5 or 6 minutes, between 2 or 3 scoring passes, because of course Blackland is learning, but Les Parpins are adapting to Blackland adapting.
Yes.
So it's been almost the half of the second half, and it looks like we keep seeing on teams morphing around and learning as they go. This is a fantastic game.
Yeah, this is a really fun game to watch. So Magma jamming for Blackland, up against Nanawhoop for Namur. And it is Nanawhoop pushing out up front, Magma behind. Nanawhoop had one blocker left but was hit out to the inside and recycled.
So Shat did some good job getting the Blue Jammer to lose some time, but is now sent to the penalty box. This will weaken the black wall, and so the logical conclusion is that Blue Jammer is now lead Nanawhoop in control of jam number 10.
And as Magma is in the penalty box, it is a power jam to Nanawhoop and Namur, and making the most of that. Again, what's really impressed me about Namur is the timing of their offense. Unfortunately, Nanawhoop taking that spill, and that jam's unfortunately got called for injury.
Yes, so this is number 666, Ellen, who stayed down, so we hope that nothing too bad is happening. The medics are going to intervene now. Should she be lined up again, she won't be able to jam for the next 3 jams, because that's what happens if the jam is stopped because you stay down. I can see both jammers in the box right now.
But also I think there was her head hit the floor, and so there will be more checks, because we're very serious about concussion and checking for concussion in our sport. So, the medics are sorting that out. But in terms of the game and how that's gone in the second half, I don't know if how you feel. I mean, we've talked a lot about how Namur have adapted to how Blackland's adapting, but it seems that the penalties are the story again, because Namur haven't had to break up Blackland walls because they haven't been there, because they've been in the penalty box. Yes,
this is what's been happening in the last 10 minutes. At the beginning of the second half, penalties were a little less frequent, and then they started happening again. And you can see it's going to be a jam with 1 pivot less. Madro is in the penalty box right now. So Blackland has started to do more star passes to try and get out of tight situations. But of course, you can't do many star passes if you don't have enough blockers to keep everyone occupied. Let us remind you of the schedule for today, by the way, because as we were telling you, this is not really a part of the Skate Around 2 tournament.
No.
The tournament will resume at 1:30 p.m. today with Vienna Roller Derby against Glasgow Roller Derby.
And for people at home in the UK, that is going to be 12:30 UK time. If you're having a big viewing party up in Glasgow, as I know that they are, because they've been telling us on Twitter. So if you want to keep up with what we're doing over the weekend, the hashtag is #SKAR2. Tell us how much you're enjoying this. And so that's the game at 1:30/12:30. And Vienna currently in the lead position in this tournament. Glasgow having 2 really good games yesterday, but unfortunately not able to secure the win. But they'll be looking for that. They'll want to go home with a prize today. And then at 4 o'clock Central European time, which is 3 p.m. UK time, it is Namur versus Lutece.
And it's going to be a very fascinating game, because basically the temporary rankings right now are Vienna is the only team with 2 wins, and they have like a good chance of finishing first.
Yes.
Then comes Namur and Lutece, and both teams have 1 win and 1 loss each. And so it's going to be a point differential thing.
Yes.
Basically, if Namur wins today's game, they finish second.
Yes.
If Lutece win, they need to win by more than 62 points, and then they will steal the second pot from under Namur.
Yep.
And Glasgow is the only team with no wins today, so whatever happens, they're going home with the 4th place. But they've been improving all weekend long. We've interviewed them yesterday. I've interviewed them. Unfortunately, it was a time where the sun was off on the stream, so maybe we didn't hear all the wonderful words we told each other, but they were so happy being here and so happy of the ways they played. And they
have a lot to be proud of. I mean, they came into this team as the lowest ranked team, and they forced closer wins than you'd expect.
Exactly.
And so they've got a lot to be really pleased about how they've played.
Yeah, they defied their own expectations, so they said.
Yeah. And I think that's been the story. Both Vienna and Glasgow have come in and surprised people, I think. I mean, Vienna with that win over Namur last night. Yeah. That was something that they weren't expecting.
So blue jammer is out of the box first. That's number 1456. That's Nana Whoop.
But Magma has also been released and is back on track and is using the other blocker from the penalty box as a battering ram successfully. Lead jammer for Blackland.
So that's the second lead for Blackland in this half. And you can tell that the people for Charleroi are in the venue because every time one of the skaters gets the lead, they erupt.
Yes. And also in roller derby, we always love the underdog. But both jammers in quite a tight pack on turn 3. But it is actually Magma who has picked up a forearms penalty and is on the way to the box. So this gives a power jam to Nana Whoop and Namur.
Nana Whoop being pushed out of bounds, but the skaters who pushed her out fell down, so she can re-enter in front of her without a cat penalty.
But Kay also on the way to the penalty box, so one blocker from each team in the box and the power jam. So Nana Whoop pushing out up front, just 2 Blackland blockers pushed out of play, so that completes the scoring pass for Nana Whoop.
But you know what, I get that. I think that in the first half this would have been like an instant affair for Nana Whoop. She would have gone like through instantly.
Yes.
And this time we've seen the Blackland blockers reform and regroup and just go against her one at a time. And this is something they could not do in the first half, and they've picked up so much ability.
Yeah. And just become really focused on being able to switch from one to the other much quicker, because we talked about that. But Magma is now out of the pack and also completed a scoring pass. Because of the penalties, there is no lead. So this will be a 2-minute jam.
A forearm penalty has been picked up by Clara, the black pivot, now heading for the penalty box.
And this has left Blackland and Magma with trouble with only one blocker on the track, who has been issued with a direction penalty. But it is, and it was right at the end of that jam. So Blackland start again with 2 blockers in the box. And this gives Namur a big advantage. And there is timeout called by Blackland, which isn't really a surprise, because that, the last couple of jams, they're going to want to re-strategize around that, because they are just having a lot of blocker penalties at the moment. And that's letting Namur rack up these big multiple passes. 13 points for Namur in that last jam, 8 points for Blackland, so 247, now playing 59. 13.5 minutes left in this game.
Donc un peu plus de 13 minutes qui restent dans ce jeu, dans cette partie. Et donc si vous avez été observateur, vous avez vu qu'on est reparti dans une phase avec beaucoup de pénalités, pénalité de jammeuse, pénalité de bloqueuse, et ça transforme à chaque fois la dynamique des jams. On sait déjà que Blackland va commencer le prochain jam avec une bloqueuse et un pivot en moins, alors que donc le score est de 247 à 59 en faveur de Namur B. Nous ne savons pas encore qui va jammer, mais ce qui est sûr, c'est que les deux équipes passent leur temps à s'adapter au jeu de l'une à l'autre. On a vu des gros efforts par les bloqueuses de Blackland pour se reformer plus vite, pour enchaîner les phases offensives et les phases défensives de manière plus efficace. La situation là va être un petit peu compliquée à gérer avec seulement Monster Truck et Hélène, je crois. C'est ça, Hélène qui vont être les deux bloqueuses pour Blackland. Blackland qui va être représenté au jam par Rage.
So just waiting for that 5 seconds. And look, there it is.
Amazing.
It's like I timed that.
How do you do it?
So we're underway. And that inside line was left wide open for Los Angeles. And makes the most of that. Lead jammer for Namur. Rage still stuck in the pack, but we have another Namur blocker in the box. So 3 Namur blockers, not able to, well, still able to hold back Rage, but Los Angeles is out completing that 5-point pass.
The way that the blue tripod just absorbed the offense from Hélène was really amazing. She targeted one of the 3 blockers, she went through, and then the whole triangle just pivoted around to just take the impact and not budge. So we have a cut penalty. Picked up by number 058, that's Monster Truck.
Yes, but just it's the offense from Namur is so well timed. They must spend a lot of time drilling this, and it's really paying off for them, because you had Los Angeles there, not hindered, just able to skate around, because the blockers had totally kept Blackland to one side or other of the track and just left that middle wide open. or the outside. It was just beautiful to watch.
Les Parpins now leading by 200 points against Blackland. Blackland with half a wall against G.I. Joanna. It's going to be Shy and Dry jamming in black. Nice recycling by the black pivot. That's number 1337, Stickler Boom Boom.
Yep. But G.I. Joanna brushes off that hit to the outside, keeps on her toe stops. Lead jammer for Namur. Shy and Dry still stuck behind wall of 3 Namur blockers, looking for the star pass. Takes the helmet cover off, but the pivot didn't notice and skated off. So Shy and Dry, oh, that was a beautiful hit by Kay on Shy and Dry.
Kay has been doing some fantastic one-on-one defense for 2 scoring passes now. She's basically the reason why the star pass hasn't been completed, because she keeps the jammer away from the pivot, all on her own.
G.I. Joanna now on her second scoring pass through the pack. The first one was able to skate by unobstructed, but this one, Blackland have reformed and are making it really difficult for her on turn 2. 3 wall that she's having to push through, and decides she's had enough and calls the jam. So that was 10 points for Namur, taking them to 270, and we've got just under 11 minutes left in this game.
After a few attempts, the star pass was finally completed by Charleroi, and that's why the blue jammer finally called it off.
But that was, as you said, just fantastic sort of situational track awareness from Namur and from Kay to stop that star pass happening.
I think she just offered maybe 10 points to a jammer this way.
Yeah. And so on the jam line we have Magma for Blackland up against, I think that's
3-1, that's T-Rex Elliott. So first attempt was thwarted. T-Rex Elliott, second attempt, she got recycled again. Going on for the third time, this time on the inside.
And cleverly used Magma as a distraction to get through. That was fantastic sort of tactics, instant tactics from T-Rex Elliott, who is out of the pack. And approaching now for points. Magma are about quarter of the track behind now, so T-Rex Elliott gets what she can, calls the jam, and that was, well, I think we're just checking with the OPRs on the number of points that T-Rex managed to pick up. Unfortunately, Blackland were denied points.
T-Rex is a really complete jammer, because so far we've seen her powering through walls, whirling around walls. She can do it all.
Yep, and that is 2 points for Namur. 3 points, sorry, I didn't have the angle on the jam ref's hand. And we're up here in this lovely balcony provided by Namur Roller Girls as part of Skate Around 2. So we have a view over the track, but sometimes the hands are just in the wrong angle.
And for the third time in this half, it's a lead jammer status for Blackland, and of course the Charleroi crowd is erupting right here. So Rage coming on fast against a 2-block wall with some help with Matt Drow. Yes, that was textbook.
Yes. And that was Nanawoot blocking for Namur, going for the hit and missing that enabled Rage to pick up those points. That was lovely. And that's 4 points for Blackland, taking them to 64 points. Now playing 273 for Namur. 8.5 minutes left to go in this game. And on the jam line for Blackland, we have Shy and Dry up against Rust in Pieces for Namur.
Only 2 blockers against Shy and Dry. Shy and Dry trying to find her way inside, didn't work. Let's try outside now, and it looks like it's gonna work, but a little bit teammate on teammate tumbling, and this allowed the blue jammer to take the lead.
Yes, so Rust in Pieces. Lead jammer approaching the pack for a scoring pass, and is able to, again, just use that physicality to brush off or push through and complete for 5 points. Shy and Dry still on turn 2, has taken the helmet cover off, so we'll be looking for a star pass, but a big hit from number 537 Punchline, and then the recycle doesn't allow that. Meanwhile, Rust in Pieces just skates round on the outside to complete 5 points with no obstruction.
Well, Rust in Pieces took advantage of the decision from the black blockers. They had a triangle and they split it into a two blocker wall, and one player doing the assist, doing the offense, and that was not enough. Maybe this time they will try to stay together, but look at that blue blocker action, preventing the black wall from reforming. This is something they can do really well.
Yes, something they did to great effect, but the star pass has been completed now by Blackland. That was very cleverly done, and it was tough to see. So good work for Namur in picking that up, but 6.65, Clara is now the jammer for Blackland and still struggling, while Rest in Pieces is just skating laps and picking up 5 points. Having now completed 5 scoring passes, this is her 6th. That is a 30-point jam.
29, I think, because the new jammer from Blackland just got out of the pack. So the soon-to-be suppressed jammer lap point was not gained this time.
No. But Clara hit to the inside just at the end of that jam, but that is 34 points for Le Papa in this jam, taking them to 307.
So that's the absolute...
that's the highest scoring jam I've seen this whole weekend.
Yep.
So amazing work there from Namur.
I think we're having a foul out on the blue side.
But we're also having a timeout on the blue side.
So yep, everything's happening all at once.
Yeah.
Alors, comme vous pouvez le remarquer, nous venons d'avoir un jam monstrueux de la part des Parpins avec 34 points de marqués. On a vraiment vu une défense de Blackland qui n'a pas pu se reformer, mais tout simplement parce que du côté de Namur, on ne les a pas laissés faire. C'est une capacité, une compétence qu'on a déjà soulignée plusieurs fois de la part des jammeuses des Parpins. Elles ont ce timing, cette manière de voir quand leur jammeuse arrive et de faire un blocage positionnel qui empêche le mur noir de se rassembler. Et du coup, c'est comme ça qu'il y a pu y avoir un tel nombre de passages marquants. De plus, on voit que les pénalités commencent vraiment à s'ajouter les unes aux autres. Et donc, on a les premiers foul-out qui arrivent dans ce match. On a une bloqueuse bleue que je n'ai pas encore identifiée, mais qui en était visiblement à cette faute, qui avait été envoyée sur le côté de la penalty box. Et comme il reste 6 minutes à jouer, nous allons voir s'il va y avoir de nouveau des joueuses à cette pénalité.
And the whistle has gone for the end of the timeout. So we are back. G.I. Joanna for Namur, and we have Magma for Blackland on the jam line. And we have 2 Namur blockers in the penalty box and a proper old school jam line start. I almost said knee start for a moment.
So G.I. Joanna is back with no way to pick up speed, and this is the 4th lead for Blackland. Magma going up with the cheers of our audience.
But the pack has sped up as G.I. Joanna is getting out, so Magma is having to work hard, but now in the pack for a scoring pass, facing 3 blockers. A hit out and recycle by Tresca forces the jam to be called off as G.I. Joanna approaches, and it is 2 points for Blackland, taking them to 69. 307 for Namur, 5.5 minutes to go.
We're going to begin jam 18 with an empty box, which is a nice sight. And jamming in black is going to be Rage, and she's up against Rest in Pieces. Everyone is on the track, full pack ahead, and it's on.
So Rest in Pieces has some offense up front, hit out to the outside by...
I think that's low block.
That is low block, who we did see jam in the first half. And Rest in Pieces back on track, has just a couple of blockers ahead, but Rage sneaks through on the inside. Lead jammer and is about 10 foot ahead of Rest in Pieces as they race around. The pack speeding up, as you'd expect, to try and save points and to give one of the jammers a chance, but there isn't any, and the jam is called.
So Rest in Pieces was just too fast. She overtook the other jammer, who had no chance of picking up points without giving up some of them to the opposing team. So the logical and safe choice was just to call it off.
Yes, no points for either team. 4 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in this game. And we have...
Shy and Dry against Nanoop.
Yes. And again, an empty penalty box. Long may it continue. Shy and Dry pushing out up front. Nanoop caught at the jam line by Blackland, but it is Magma picking up a blocker penalty, which allows Nanoop through for lead jammer for Le Papa. And Shy and Dry stuck in the pack on turn 1.
We saw Shy and Dry trying to take her helmet cover, and then I think she realized that there's no pivot on the black side.
Yes.
So finally she gets out of the track. In the meantime, we can see Namur trying to power through a 2-blocker wall that's doing a great job at resisting her attempts so far.
Yeah. And she outpaces the blockers on the outside, but it is Stickler Boom Boom who goes for a hit out front, but Namur brushes that off and completes the 5-point scoring pass. But Shy and Dry is also out of the pack, having scored 4 points. So Namur happy to keep this jam going long. And just as I say that, Namur gets caught up in the pack and decides to call the jam. But Namur picking up more points in that jam with the jam lap point, the second pass, so it is 8 points playing 4 in that jam, 315 points playing 73. 2 minutes 45 left. And we have Madrow for the first time on the jam line for
Yeah, she's
Blackland.
been a pivot all this time.
Yeah.
This is the first time she's jamming. I mean, we are less than 3 minutes from the end, so this is like a good time for
Why not?
experimenting.
Yeah, and practice. Because there's nothing like being on track to practice your jamming, and it is Los Angeles out front for Namur, pushing against a wall of 3, gets some offense to break it down to wall of 2, but it is both jams coming out at similar times, but it is Los Angeles who is not lead. It is Madrow who got lead but got hit out and recycled to turn 2. So Los Angeles has now completed the initial pass on a scoring pass. Madrow is lead jammer but is still on her initial pass.
Is she aware? I'm not sure if she's aware she's lead jammer. Anyway, she's going to try and find a way across the pack.
But interesting looking at the bench are not asking her to call it off either. So this is clearly...
This may be just a way for her to practice, as you mentioned.
Yep.
Maybe they're just happy to let her jam.
Yep. But Los Angeles completing that second scoring pass, 9 points now in this jam for Namur. Madrow hit out and recycled back to turn 4, still in the pack on that initial pass. And Namur now on their third scoring pass.
And you can see how the level of track awareness of the Namur blockers, because as soon as the out of play was called by the IPR, they just zoomed and tried to rejoin, because we haven't seen any pack penalty, I think. It's always contact penalties in this game.
Yep. But Los Angeles brushes off that hit from Stickler Boom Boom again and picks up that's the 4th scoring pass that they've completed. And Madrow, lead jammer, still on her initial pass.
This has to be a conscious choice.
Yes, because there's no way. I mean, the bench just looked to the scoreboard where it's showing who lead is, and Madrow finally calls that jam, but does pick up the 6 points in that jam, whereas Le Papa have picked up 22 points. So it's 337 now playing 79. And we have just 17 seconds left on the period clock. So we will have another jam, because you have to try and do the maths between the period clock and the jam break. The lineup 30 seconds. Yep, and there we go with 4 seconds left on the period clock, which has now expired. So this is likely to be the final jam.
Yes, it is. So that's a multiplayer penalty picked by number 127, Salamine. Will this allow? Yes. And these 5 last minutes have been like a lead jammer status festival for Blackland.
Yep.
They never had picked up so many lead jammer positions. So now Rage is trying to get this opportunity to score a few points, pushing Madrow out of the way, and this was completely effective. That's a first scoring pass with 4 points for Madrow, who's not calling enough. No. Maybe she just wants to enjoy these last minutes of playing, because this is the last game of the Belgian Championship for them.
Yes. And so Rage, obviously following the bench's directions, they're playing the jam long and just having fun on the track. And so it is Mischief Manager who pushes out up front to complete a scoring pass. So both teams having scoring passes. Namur and Mischief Manager just coming up to the pack for her third scoring pass. And the jam comes to an end, called by Blackland.
And this is it.
This is it. 7 points for Blackland, 8 points for Namur in that last jam. The unofficial score is 86 to Blackland, 344 to Namur. Now, as we said, you know, this was a fun game to watch. It was really interesting to see how all the tactics changed. So if you're a bit of a strategy nerd like us, it was a really interesting game to watch.
Indeed.
But it was also clearly fun. The teams were having fun, the jammers were having fun.
Well, because, you know, it happens often that when you have a game with a lot of penalties, sometimes, you know, spirits will get heated up and people will get angry, and this did not happen. I mean, we saw a few players like going like, oh, I was hitting the head, but it didn't escalate at any point. Everyone was just happy to keep playing together, and these last jams, which lasted 2 minutes, even though they didn't have to. But we had like a few jams with players having the lead and not calling enough, and it was clearly on purpose.
Yes.
That means people having fun, doesn't it?
They're just enjoying playing roller derby. And, you know, in the end, that's why we all do this. Yes, competition is important, points are important, but if it stops being fun, and you know, this...
Where's the point?
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think this is one of the things that one of the other things that national competitions bring. Is they remind you that this is fun.
Of course. And, well, we are gonna maybe have a post-game interview if one of our fantastic members of the announcer team can grab a player fast enough and just drag them around to our sweet balcony. Anyway, if you just joined us, let us remind you that this is far from over. We're going to have the end of the Skate Around 2 tournament with every team playing each other. So the only teams which have not played each other are, let me take a look.
Yes, so it's the next game is going
Vienna
to be
against Glasgow.
It's the next game, and then it's going to be Namur versus Lutèce for the final game of the tournament. So at the moment, Vienna, as we said, are in the lead position for the tournament with 2 wins. Glasgow with 2 losses so far, but 2 great games. So I think in that, Glasgow are going to want to win. Vienna are going to want to win the tournament, so that's going to be a fantastic game to watch. And then Lutèce and Namur are fighting it out for second place. Both of them can take second in this tournament, depending on the result of this game. So again, both of them are going to be desperate for the win. So it's just going to be really exciting to watch, and it's just been a fantastic tournament all the way through. Some really tight games, some surprises, and you know, it's just been such a great weekend, and we still have 2 games to go. So the first game, Vienna versus Glasgow, is going to be at 1:30 Central European time or 12:30 UK time for people at home supporting Glasgow, and obviously 1:30 for the large number of people we know are watching in Austria. So Vienna have been very vocal on Twitter. Their fans have been telling us how it's been going all weekend, and if you want to talk to us on Twitter, it's #SKAR2, and we have our own stream which is at SAround2, so you can keep up with all the action and the points. And we've been getting lots of feedback, and so we want to hear from you, because otherwise we feel like we're broadcasting into the void and that no one cares, and we do this for the attention.
Yeah, sure. I mean, why else do you want to be an announcer? Do you want to spread road derby? Nonsense. And we just do it because we love to be in the spotlight.
Yes, absolutely. And we are about to have...
Skaters? Who cares about skaters?
Who cares about skaters? They just do the thing on the track. It's all about...
They hit each other and stuff.
Yeah, it's what we say is the important stuff.
Exactly.
So we are going to have a post-game interview with a member
Rage.
With
it's
Rage.
Going to be Rage, exactly.
Who had a fantastic game jamming for Blackland.
Yep.
And so we're going to hear about how they felt about Belgian Championships in this year. So they're just coming up the stairs.
Yes, they are in a few seconds. They'll be joining us. And moving on to Comic Relief and Rage from Blackland. And it's going to be in French. Sorry, English speakers. Hop là.
Alors bonjour. Je ne sais plus parler.
Moi non plus.
Bonjour. On dit rage, rage.
On dit rage.
Rage, très bien.
Rage.
On te laisse reprendre ton souffle.
Ça va aller.
Donc tu t'occupes de l'association, c'est ça, de Blackland?
Ouais, la Ligue de Charleroi. Blackland.
Très bien. Est-ce que tu peux, parce qu'on sait que la Ligue existe depuis 2011 et qu'il y a eu pas mal de changements récemment, est-ce que tu peux nous en parler un petit peu?
C'est pas tout à fait récent, mais la Ligue existe depuis 2011 en effet. Voilà. Et puis les filles qui l'ont fondée sont plus là. Elles sont toutes parties à gauche à droite faire leur vie. Leur expérience de derby est de femmes. Voilà. Et donc les plus jeunes qui étaient présentes en 2011 ont prolongé ce qu'elles avaient mis en place. C'est vrai qu'on a eu un petit creux, je dirais, dans les années 2013-2014, comme ça. Voilà, maintenant on remonte. On a un super coach, Greg Bou, qui est venu nous soutenir et puis finalement qui nous a adoptés. Voilà, et qu'on peut maintenant, qu'on est très fiers maintenant à qui on a offert un contrat d'employé. Donc,
d'accord, oui.
C'est un premier salarié du roller derby. Voilà, et ça c'est quelque chose dont on est très fiers.
Oh oui, c'est bien, ça serait bien que ça puisse
c'est normal parce que
propager ailleurs.
Le derby, c'est beaucoup de bénévoles, beaucoup d'investissements et les gens comptent pas leurs heures. Voilà, ce qui crée parfois des tensions. Et puis nous, on a essayé justement de régler ces tensions en officialisant les rôles de chacun. Et voilà, il fait un travail exceptionnel avec nous et j'espère qu'on lui rend bien. Voilà.
S'il reste, c'est qu'il est content. Donc on sait que c'est la première année de championnat belge. Comment vous avez vécu cette première saison en tant que...
On n'est pas rentré dans le championnat en tout début. Le premier match qu'on a fait du championnat dans notre division, puisqu'il y a 2 divisions chez les femmes, remonte à fin octobre.
D'accord, c'est tout.
Voilà. Or les matchs ont commencé déjà depuis j'aurais pu dire mi-saison l'année passée, quoi. Enfin, 2018. Et voilà. Et donc, on rentre. C'est avec ce serait difficile contre Namur, mais on est quand même content. On est content d'avoir gardé le sourire. Voilà, les entraînements précédents étaient très tendus. Du fait que il y avait un enjeu, mais
vous êtes contente d'avoir joué ce match?
Oui, on est content d'avoir gardé le sourire en tout cas et puis d'avoir donné. C'est très physique, ça c'est sûr qu'il y a toujours une condition physique qu'on peut améliorer pour tenir sur la longueur, quoi.
Et c'est justement un peu ma prochaine question. Quels sont comme là c'est la fin de la saison, quels sont vos projets ou vos buts pour la saison prochaine?
Nous, on a encore 2 matchs à faire dans le championnat. Donc on doit encore rencontrer Bruxelles et puis Anvers. Voilà, et après ça, on va voyager, on va aller voir à gauche à droite, on va inviter la Hollande, la France, l'Angleterre. On a aussi une équipe junior, avec des enfants qui sont présentés à la Coupe du Monde. Donc on est très fiers aussi. Des beaux petits garçons, des belles jeunes filles qui promettent. Et nous, on va essayer de progresser tout doucement, mais sûrement.
Super.
Voilà.
Merci beaucoup d'avoir accordé quelques minutes pour cette interview et puis on espère vous revoir bientôt.
Merci aussi. À bientôt. Au revoir.
Au revoir.